At the reading of the will, my cousin started crying loudly, before the lawyer even opened the folder. "I just know she wanted me to have the piano," she sobbed. The lawyer read it word for word. "Under no circumstances is the piano." My jaw dropped. My aunt stormed out. I took a video of me playing the piano that night, captioned, "Grandma knew. My grandma passed away last October. She was 93, tough as nails, and never one to bite her tongue. She lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana her whole life. The kind of woman who clipped coupons but tipped waitresses like she was rich. She had strong opinions and a memory like a steel trap even in her last days. She also had a baby grand piano that sat in her living room for as long as I can remember. It was the one thing in the house she cleaned every week without fail. 1928 Baldwin baby grand, shiny and black. Not a speck of dust on it ever. It wasn't just furniture. It was her pride. I never thought much about it when I was younger. But I'd sit down and play when I visited. Nothing fancy, just some slow pieces she liked. She'd sit in her recliner with her tea and hum along. We didn't talk a lot during those times. Just music and silence. She liked that. My cousin Amber, on the other hand, was obsessed with it. She was the kind of person who always had to be the center of attention. Told everyone she was grandma's favorite. Claimed she was musically gifted because she took 3 years of piano lessons as a kid. Never mind she quit because she didn't like practicing. But she still told anyone who'd listen, "That piano is mine one day." Amber visited grandma maybe twice a year. She always brought some gift like scented lotion or cheap chocolates. Then she'd make a big show of how close they were, post it on social media and disappear again. I visited every month. No fanfare, no posts, just me and grandma and the piano. So when grandma died, none of us were shocked she left a will. What did surprise us was how specific it was. The lawyer, Ron, had been working with her for years. Real old-school guy. Gray suit, worn briefcase, no patience for nonsense. We all met in his office on a cold Tuesday afternoon. Me, my mom, my Uncle Mike, Amber, and her mom, my aunt, by marriage. Amber showed up in full drama mode. Black dress, heels too high for Indiana winters, face already shiny from crying. As soon as we sat down, before Ron even opened the folder, Amber let out this shaky, loud sob. "I just know she wanted me to have the piano," she whimpered, looking around the room. "She always said I was the musical one." Ron didn't say a word, just opened the folder and started reading. It was the usual stuff at first, small donations to her church and local animal shelter, some personal items to friends. Then came the family gifts. My mom got grandma's jewelry. Uncle Mike got her coin collection. A few other things went to friends. Then Ron read this, "To my granddaughter Amber, last name, I leave the ceramic cat collection in the hallway curio and the guest room quilt." Amber looked confused. "The quilt?" She sat up straighter like she thought maybe the piano was coming next. Ron flipped the page. "And under no circumstances is the piano to go to Amber, last name." Silence. Complete silence. I watched Amber's face turn red. She blinked, lips parted, then let out a small gasp like she couldn't breathe. My aunt slammed her hand on the armrest of her chair. "This is ridiculous," she snapped. "That's not what she meant." She was confused. Someone must have talked her into it. Ron raised his eyebrows and said, "There's a video." She was clear. Signed, witnessed, and notarized. "It's all legal." Amber's voice cracked. "She always said I was special. I played for her when I was a little girl. She told me I had talent." Uncle Mike muttered, "Yeah, she also said you had the rhythm of a chicken." I tried not to smile, but it slipped out. Then Ron read, "The Baldwin baby grand piano goes to my grandson, my name, who never once asked me for it. He just played it." I sat there stunned. I hadn't expected it. I didn't even know I wanted it until that moment. But hearing those words, I felt something heavy in my chest. Like pride and sadness and relief all at once. Amber stood up. "She lied to me," she hissed. "She told me it was mine. She told me it wasn't," I said quietly. "Last time I saw her," she said, "don't let anyone touch that piano who doesn't love it." Aunt grabbed her purse and Amber's arm. "We're leaving," she said. "This is outrageous." They stormed out. Ron closed the folder. "Well," he said, "that was fun. That night I went to Grandma's house. I had the keys already. She'd given me a copy months ago, just in case. The house was quiet. It smelled like old books and lemon oil. I walked to the living room and there it was, the piano right where it always was, near the bay window. I sat down and opened the lid. Ran my fingers over the keys. Still smooth. Still in tune. I pulled out my phone, set it on the stand and hit record. Then I played. Just like I used to. Moon River. Her favorite. Afterwards I uploaded it to Facebook and captioned it, Grandma knew. Amber commented 10 minutes later, this isn't over. I'm contesting the will. And that was the moment I realized this fight wasn't about a piano. It never was. After Amber posted that comment, this isn't over. I'm contesting the will, I didn't respond. I didn't delete it either. I just left it there like a warning flag. My mom called the next morning. She's serious, she said. Your aunt already called Ron's office. She's saying Grandma was manipulated in her final days. That she was mentally unfit when she signed the will. I laughed. Grandma was sharp as ever. She beat me at Scrabble a week before she died. She's claiming elder abuse, my mom added quietly. That shut me up. The word hit like a punch. Elder abuse? That's not just a family fight. That's the kind of accusation that sticks. That ruins reputations. They don't have anything, I said. They're just throwing mud. But I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about Grandma's voice, the way she'd said, don't let anyone touch that piano who doesn't love it. 3 days later, I got a letter from an attorney. Amber had officially filed to contest the will. The letter claimed undue influence and said I pressured Grandma in her final days. They even dragged up that I had power of attorney for a while, which was true, but only because Grandma asked me to handle her bills when her hands started shaking too much to write checks. I called Ron. He sounded calm but firm. They've got nothing. We have video of your grandmother reading her own will out loud. She jokes about your cousin in it. Trust me, this won't go far. But it did go far. Amber and her mother started running their mouths around town. Said I was a leech. That I manipulated an old woman. One of my old high school teachers stopped me in the grocery store and asked if it was true. That's when I knew I had to hit back. Not with lies. Not with yelling. But with the truth. I sent the video to Ron and gave him full permission to submit it in court. The video was grainy. Grandma sitting at the kitchen table, wearing her old cardigan, sipping tea. Ron asked her to read the will out loud. She read every line clearly. When she got to Amber's name, she smirked and said, under no circumstances is the piano to go to Amber, last name. And I mean it. That girl doesn't care about music. She cares about people watching her care about music. Then she looked into the camera and added, give it to me. He's the only one who ever played it like it mattered. Ron smiled. You sure? Grandma sipped her tea. I'm sure. The hearing was set for February. But before it even got that far, Amber made another move. She broke into the house. I got the call from a neighbor. There's a woman with blonde hair and a scarf hauling stuff out your grandma's house. I jumped in my car and drove like hell. When I pulled up, Amber was in the driveway trying to wrestle open the back door of a U-Haul. The piano bench, not the piano, just the bench, was inside, along with a few boxes of sheet music and old photo albums. What the hell are you doing? I shouted. She didn't even flinch. Taking what's mine. I pulled out my phone and started recording. You're breaking and entering. I'll press charges. It's not breaking in, she said, smug. I have a key. You used Grandma's key after the will gave the house to my mom. That's illegal. I don't care. Her voice cracked. She lied to me. I called the police. They came. Took statements. One officer asked her to sit on the curb. She cried hard this time. Not the fake kind from the will reading. The real kind. Angry and broken. She looked up at me and screamed, you don't deserve that piano. I didn't say a word. They didn't arrest her, just gave her a warning. Told her not to come back. Told me I could file charges if I wanted. I didn't. Not yet. But I started to understand just how deep this was going to go. This wasn't about the piano anymore. This was about Grandma choosing me. And Amber couldn't stand it. After the break-in, I figured Amber would back off. She'd been caught. Embarrassed. Humiliated. I thought maybe that was enough for her to finally let it go. I was wrong. About 2 weeks later, I got a letter from Child Protective Services. At first, I thought it had to be a mistake. I don't have kids. I'm not married. I live alone. But when I opened the envelope, I realized it was worse than I thought. Amber had filed a report against my mom. She claimed that while Grandma was living in the house, my mom had neglected her medical needs and withheld medication. She said Grandma's decline wasn't natural, that my mom let her deteriorate so the will could be signed without full mental clarity. I called my mom immediately. She sounded like she was trying to stay calm, but her voice was shaking. "I don't know how she even made this up," she said. "Grandma had a nurse twice a week. Her doctor came to the house every month. I have the records. She's trying to wear us down," I said. "Make us regret ever opening that folder." But it didn't stop there. The next week, a local reporter reached out to me. Said someone tipped them off to a family feud over a 6-figure antique piano. Asked if I wanted to comment. I told them no. But the article ran anyway. They used a photo of Grandma's house and blurred my face from a Facebook photo. The headline was brutal: "Family war over Grandma's will, piano at the center of bitter legal fight." Amber shared it on her profile with the caption, "It's not about money. It's about truth." People in town started looking at us differently. Some thought it was just drama. Others whispered behind our backs. My mom stopped going to her weekly church group. I quit the bar I used to go to on Thursdays because the bartender made a joke about family treasure hunters. I thought about giving in, just letting Amber have the damn piano bench or the sheet music or something to shut her up. But then I found something that made me realize I couldn't. I was cleaning out Grandma's attic. Old boxes, Christmas decorations, random tools. And then, tucked inside a cracked leather folder, I found it. A handwritten letter, dated 6 months before she died. It was addressed to me. "If Amber ever tries anything after I'm gone, show them this. She's been talking about that piano since 2009. She thinks inheritance is about getting what you want. You know better. That piano is a story. Play it loud enough so she hears it." There was a photocopy of a journal page with it, Grandma's handwriting again. She wrote about how Amber had once brought a realtor to her house just to get a feel for the market. This was while Grandma was still living there, fully independent. She had been furious. Wrote, "I told her the only thing going in the ground anytime soon was her chances of getting anything from me. That's when I knew this wasn't some impulsive grudge. Grandma saw this coming years ago." So I showed the letter and journal to Ron. He nodded slowly. This changes everything." He filed it with the court, entered it into the record. But before the next hearing could even happen, the real twist hit. I got an email from a guy named Jordan. Said he was Amber's ex-boyfriend. They dated for a couple years. He said he saw the news article, saw her post, and wanted to talk. I ignored him at first. Then he emailed again. "I know what she's doing. And I know what she did before Grandma died. If you want to talk, I'll meet you anywhere." I finally replied. We met at a diner on the edge of town. He looked tired, rough around the edges, nervous. He slid a flash drive across the table. "She made recordings," he said, "of your grandma, without her knowing. Edited them." "What?" "She'd take videos of her asking for help, then cut out the context. Make it look like she was being ignored. She told me she was going to use them to make your mom look abusive if the will didn't go her way." I sat there stunned. "She was planning this for months," he said. "Even joked about it once. Said, if I don't get that piano, I'll burn the whole house down with her memory in it." He looked at me. "I broke up with her when she started talking about accidentally deleting the original files. I thought you should know." I took the flash drive. I didn't say thank you. I didn't say anything. Because in that moment, I knew 2 things. Amber was willing to destroy Grandma's name to get her way. And I was finally done playing nice. I handed the flash drive over to Ron the same day. He didn't say much, just took it, slid it into his laptop, and listened with his mouth tightening line by line. One video had Amber whispering in the background, coaching Grandma to say she was in pain. Another was cut up to make it look like Grandma was asking for help, but Ron caught the audio skip right away. "They're doctored," he said. "She's sunk." He filed a motion to dismiss. Amber's will contest right away, including everything: Grandma's letter, the journal page, and now the flash drive. The judge scheduled a full evidentiary hearing. No more games. Everything was going to come out. 2 days before the hearing, Amber messaged me. First time since the break-in. It just said, "Please talk to me before the court date." I didn't mean for this to go this far. I didn't respond. The courtroom was packed. My family showed up. Even Uncle Mike wore a tie which said everything. Ron laid out the truth clean and simple. He played the video of Grandma reading her own will. Showed the journal page. Then he played Amber's edited videos and the originals Jordan had sent me. The court was silent when it ended. Amber sat frozen. The judge leaned forward. Miss Amber's last name, do you deny these videos were altered by you? Amber didn't answer. Do you deny that you attempted to mislead this court with fabricated evidence? Still no answer. Her lawyer whispered something. Amber finally stood up and said, I was just trying to get what was fair. That's when I stood. I looked at her. Right there in front of everyone. And I said, no, you were trying to take what wasn't yours. You lied about my mom. You broke into Grandma's house. You used her death like it was a game. And all for what? A piano? She looked at me, eyes red. You don't understand what it's like always being second. I shook my head. No. You just never learned how to earn anything. The judge ruled immediately. The will stood. All of Amber's claims were denied. The break-in and false claims were referred to the DA. She could be facing charges for fraud and trespassing. The judge even suggested my mom could file a civil suit for defamation if she wanted. I thought that would be the end of it. But I made one more move. I went back to Grandma's house, sat at the piano, played one last song, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, the one I always saved for when I was alone. I filmed it just like before. Only this time I spoke at the end. This piano is staying in the family. But not to show off, not to win, just to remember. Then I paused. And Amber, if you're watching this, you were right about one thing. You were second. Because Grandma saw through you a long time ago. And now so does everyone else. I posted the video. It went local viral. People shared it, commented, called it justice. Amber deleted her Facebook that night, packed up and left town a week later. I heard she moved to Ohio, changed jobs, tried to start over. But people don't forget lies that big. And me? I kept the piano. But I moved it to a music school in Grandma's name. I still visit it once a month, polish it, play a little. Because the thing about real revenge? It's not just about getting even. It's about making sure the truth plays louder than the lies ever did. And that piano? It's still playing.